Hey YouTube, it's me, Nezarek. We're back with another episode of Nez's RE. Today we are talking about Michael TRACY and why Jank needs to fire that guy right now. So basically, I wake up this morning and I check out, a few videos, a few political videos, which is the first thing I do because that's my primary media that I consume. And I stumble upon this video from the Rational National, and he's talking about how a TYT supporter is against the firing of Nazis. Let's get something straight real quick. Michael TRACY has always been not an independent, not left, but a defender of the right, okay, since he first came out on the TYT scene. Okay, now, there's a few reasons why I think Jank should fire him, okay? And that's because we, the supporters of TYT, were the ones who hired Michael TRACY. Okay, and we didn't hire Michael TRACY to go out and defend Nazis. We didn't hire Michael TRACY to find every excuse for Donald Trump in the Russia scandal. We didn't hire Michael TRACY to be an advocate for everything that's wrong with the right and to try to spin some crazy logic onto it to make it seem like it's not so bad. But that's all he's done since he's worked for freaking TYT. And it's really disgusting when you start to really look at the way he does it. Okay, he does it with the finesse and tact of someone who can try to take a very unreasonable stance and make it seem reasonable. Okay, this is what people did when they weren't really educated on, the fact that the German people knew that they were, busing in Jews and burning them in furnaces, okay? It's not like the only people who knew that and spoke out against it were the Germans who witnessed it, okay? Not Americans, not the French, not anybody else, because nobody else, actually was able to watch this whole Auschwitz thing go down. But the people around those nations saw trainloads of people heading toward Auschwitz and all these other internment camps. Not even internment camps. Those were freaking work camps, death camps, okay? Where they literally worked you to death. You had no value. The only value you had was how well you can work, okay? And let's not forget that the Nazis killed 13 million people. And let's also not forget that Nazism is inherently violent. Hitler has all kinds of articles and speeches and op-eds, if you want to call it that, where he says that he wants a violent, tyrannical youth that's heartless and willing to kill and do whatever it takes to protect the white race and this, that, and the other. So for Michael TRACY to come out and say that these people don't deserve to be fired when inherently we already know they're violent. Look what happened in Charlottesville. We already saw a 20-year-old just decide to plow into a crowd because he believes in the Nazi ideology. For this guy to say that they don't need to be fired, dude. Fire Michael TRACY. That's what should happen. I think Jank needs to get out there and practice what he preaches and fire Michael TRACY. Because he's been doing this since he got hired. He's been defending Trump since he's got hired. He's been attacking liberals and progressives since he's got hired. Michael TRACY is basically a white nationalist. I don't want to call him a Nazi, but he's a white nationalist, okay? He can say whatever he wants. He can present whatever argument he wants. Every time I've watched one of his videos, he's always doing something for the right. He's giving credence to the Cato Institute and had one of their researchers on his freaking he interviewed one of the researchers on TYT politics. He decides to just watch his interactions with Trump supporters when he very first started working for TYT. His interactions with Trump supporters is, oh, okay, yeah. He shakes their hand, gives them a big smile, and walks away. But as soon as he interviews a guy who says, oh, Trump and Russia have some sort of tie together, he has all these probing questions and scrutiny and criticisms of him. And it's not as simple as that. I mean, right now, I don't have my PC. We just moved into a different house. It is literally torn apart. And I can't get my ass to my PC because it's in storage, so I can't make a proper video for this right now. And I know that's a shortcoming on my behalf. But anybody who takes a breath, pulls their head out of their ass for a second, and really scrutinizes Michael Tracy's words and actions will realize Michael Tracy is a white nationalist, and regardless of why he believes that Nazism isn't freaking inherently dangerous, which it is, okay? Nazism is probably the most dangerous. 13 million people died, okay? 6 million of them were Jews, but 13 million people died, okay? Behind Nazism. For Michael Tracy to think that these people, and speak out publicly and say that these people shouldn't be fired, is the biggest sign that this guy is that intelligent white nationalist who doesn't speak in platitudes, but instead finds excuses for violence, for fascist, and for, what's the word I'm looking for? Very un-American ideologies. And I guarantee you, if he gets fired, he'll be right over at Breitbart. He'll be right over at Fox News. He'll be right over somewhere else, because guess what? That's who he is. So I'm calling, as a viewer and a longtime subscriber of TYT, to freaking get rid of this guy, dude. It's time, Jink. You see his true colors. He's Donald Trump's fucking water boy. I hate to say it like that, but he is. There's no reason for TYT to have a white nationalist in their ranks. I'm sorry, they just murdered someone. They just ran over 19 people. They showed up to this rally with freaking ARs, and I guarantee you, Michael Tracy's logic will be, oh, well, it was their right to show up with ARs. Oh, well, there was two sides that were being violent. He'll probably say a whole bunch of stuff in filibuster and try to say, oh, well, yeah, it was terrible, it was wrong, this, that, and the other. But there's always a but with Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy is a freaking Nazi. He needs to go. Jink needs to fire that guy. I've been saying it every time I get in one of his comment sections. Every time I get on one of his videos, he's saying or doing something outrageous. Fire that guy, Jink. And honestly, I kind of feel like it should be public. I kind of feel like there should be a video. I feel like Jink and Michael Tracy should have a conversation, and Michael Tracy needs to just come out and say, I'm a white nationalist. Because look at Michael Tracy and tell me you can't see him with khaki pants, a white polo shirt, and a shield and a flag, okay? Look at that guy and tell me he doesn't fit that dynamic. Listen to that guy's words and tell me he doesn't identify with white nationalism, if not Nazism, okay? White nationalists are intelligent enough not to be Nazis, but guaranteed, if it was okay socially, they would be. And what they don't want is for it to not be okay socially. This is how I feel about Nazis. You guys killed 13 million people. Confederates too. 620,000 Americans died because of you. If you're flying around either one of those flags, it's because you're a violent person. Okay? And if you don't get your way, you're willing to take a step toward violence as soon as you have enough of your friends around, and as soon as you have the upper hand and the advantage, because you're too much of a coward to do something by yourself. Okay? So let's just get that straight, okay? I have met neo-Nazis. No, they're not. It's not all black and white. They're not all just, blind racist. But let's get something straight. That lineage, that heritage, that history is the ugliest part of our human history. And it's disgusting to think that anyone at TYT can defend it. And that's exactly what Michael Tracy is doing. And it's disgusting to think that anyone in America could defend it, especially since our people, Americans, died fighting against the Nazis. You're a disgrace to our country. Not just you, Michael Tracy, but you are too. But you Nazis, you Confederates, you guys are disgraces to our country, okay? You guys stop us from being able to say that we're the best country in the world. The only reason we can't say that is because of corporatists and Nazis and Confederates. Okay? And the inequality in this country that keeps on getting spun into all this other bullshit. Like, it's literally you guys, okay, who are stopping us from being better altogether. Okay? So I feel like if you want to fly a Nazi flag, maybe you should be hiding. Maybe you should be scared that a white man who disagrees with you is going to run up with a baseball bat or a club or a golf club or something and just decide to go to town on your ass. Maybe you should be scared. Maybe you should be scared that you're going to get fired if you show up at a damn Klan rally. Like, I think you should be fired. I don't care if you work at Denny's or if you're a cop. You should be fired. That's bad for business, bruh. Like, that's just logic. That's common fucking sense. And here we have Michael TRACY telling establishments, people who have to, who serve the public, you shouldn't fire this guy because he's a Nazi. Yeah, you should fire that guy because he's a Nazi, so black people and Jews are supposed to walk in there and give you business, even though you have Nazis in your employment? Yeah, fire Michael TRACY, Jink. This isn't even a question anymore. Fire that guy. I don't even see how anybody could defend or agree with Michael TRACY's logic unless they're the same idiots who say that the Confederates weren't supporting slavery, they were supporting states' rights. That's the kind of idiotic logic. And let me make sure that I finish this idea before I get riled up and jump too far. Yeah, I have ADD. Michael TRACY isn't ignorant. Okay, Michael TRACY knows what Hitler said. Michael TRACY knows that Hitler advocated violence in Nazism. That's a core principle of Nazism, okay? Is violence. And the only way that they're safe, because they're not bigger and stronger and tougher than everybody else. They'll have like one guy who's big, strong, and tough, but the rest of them are just average Joes, usually slightly below average people, okay? They don't believe in working out. They don't believe in any of that crap. Or they don't believe in fighting somebody who's their size. They're bullies, dude. They like fighting people that are smaller than them, okay? But Michael TRACY knows this. He knows the violence that is perpetuated via Nazism, okay? And let me make sure I say that there's a difference between Nazism and skinheads, okay? There is a slight difference there, okay? Nazism kind of perverted the whole skinhead thing, okay? But, guaranteed, Michael TRACY knows that Hitler talked about his violent youth, okay? The pimp freaking camps that were pretty much bringing up kids to hate other people and to not be scared to be violent against those people at the drop of a hat. So Michael TRACY is a dirtbag. That guy is the biggest piece of shit on the planet right now, and he needs to be fired. Jank, if I had my freaking PC, I could literally just build this case, build this file via tweets, via videos he shared, and everything he's doing. I almost think that this guy's a saboteur. Okay? Fire freaking Michael TRACY. He needs to go. If you disagree with that, leave a comment, okay? Because I guarantee you, any type of defense that you have, once you actually start looking up a lot of what Hitler said, it starts to disappear, dude. It starts to be like, wow, how can this guy agree with a ideology that, you know, took pictures of dead babies in freaking trenches and laughed about it? You know? Like, seriously. They were ISIS, dude. They were ISIS. So, basically, it's white ISIS in America, and Michael TRACY thinks it's okay. So, let's get rid of this guy, okay? If you're a TYT supporter, you should freaking leave a comment. You should start leaving tweets on their. We should start a petition to fire Michael TRACY. And I don't know how to do that. I'm a little bit busy these days. You know, I'm actually sleeping in my van right now until the house is finished, so somebody else is going to have to do that this time. But Michael TRACY needs to go. Fire that guy. I've been saying that for months now. Fire that guy. Jake needs to fire you because you are garbage. And I can tell garbage because garbage talks a certain way, it acts a certain way, but it's not the way that they say it. And I think that's where people get confused. The way that Michael TRACY talks is very articulate, very intelligent. He sounds very researched. He sounds like he has an authority and a power over you. But the reality is, the ideas that he's sharing are still absolute crap. Okay? Jank, fire Michael TRACY. Do it today. As soon as possible. If that guy is off somewhere, say, hey, buddy, why don't you come in we have to talk for a second. And then hand him his papers. I don't care if you got to pay him, $30,000, $20,000, whatever, to get rid of him. Get rid of him. And replace him with somebody who's willing to do the job. Because Michael TRACY is just muddying the waters. That's why he's at TYT. This is Nezarek. Feel free to like and subscribe. Deuces.